over the last couple of months, we've had a lot of games capture lightning in a bottle. There's been Lethal Company, Palworld, and most recently, Helldivers 2.
What the fuck? Get up! I can't get up! Yes! Oh my god!
Now that clip you just saw kind of encapsulates why the game has taken off so much, in a nutshell. And if you want to see more of that, I've done a video detailing all of the fun mechanics that I love about this game, which will be linked below, so go check that out. But today's video is going to focus on how Helldivers 2 did the impossible, some of the struggles they're facing right now, the bright future that it has in front of it, and the overall community consensus on how Helldivers 2 has essentially won the internet. Both PlayStation fans and Xbox fans alike are actually wanting this game to be brought over to Xbox so more people can fight against the automaton menace. And that right there might be the crux of it all. Community. Helldivers 2 builds itself upon a community that respects each other. Well, much more than most other online multiplayer games. Because it's got the feeling of we're all in this together. And somehow that's led the team Arrowhead behind Helldivers 2 to make a game that is more successful than Halo on Steam. And not just Halo, but free-to-play Halo. Because Helldivers 2 peaked over 350,000 players. That is ridiculous. I'm imagining the team is incredibly excited about this. I mean, I would be as well, so congratulations to them. Because I can't imagine that they actually thought that this would happen, considering the game was announced at a PlayStation showcase, which granted does give a huge audience a peek into what the game has to offer, but the hype before launch really wasn't that big at all, and the marketing budget I'm assuming wasn't that big either, because there were a couple trailers, but it wasn't a massive marketing push or anything. There was no beta, so people didn't know that they'd get hooked before the game came out, and there was also no reviews. Everything was stacked against Helldivers 2, but somehow word of mouth has made it so that Helldivers 2 has sold ridiculously well, and the peak player counts are so high that Arrowhead have upped up the server capacity to 500,000. To put that in perspective, Helldivers 1 had a peak player count of 6,000. 6. Now of course that isn't always a good thing for us players. I mean, a lot of us have been sitting here waiting to get in because the game has had queues. But that'll sort itself out. The devs are already on that. As I said, they've increased the server capacity by a lot. But it does mean that the game has garnered so much interest that Sony has piled on a load more support into Arrowhead Studios to kind of streamline the next content drop for the game. More devs are being brought on board for a game that Sony had no idea would perform so well as it has, and Arrowhead neither. The content coming to the game hopefully will bring more guns, vehicles like the mechs from the original game, which were one of the coolest things about the original game. We know these are coming in free content updates, and I think the promise to players that have hooked them in is the fact that all the content that's coming to the game in the future is free. Now there's a bit of a caveat to this, because some of this will definitely be locked behind a paid battle pass, however you can earn the currency in game. So it doesn't really feel predatory at all. And that's another topic to talk about entirely as well, the monetization practices in Helldivers 2. This is one of the games where I don't feel pressured to buy anything in the store, I don't feel pressured to buy the next battle pass, and of course that means I've actually spent all of my earned credits on stuff in the store, and I'm willing to spend money on the actual battle pass itself, because the devs don't actually feel like they hate me and just want my money. So I am actually willing to support them with my wallet, and I know a lot of other people are too. And to be honest, the only caveat to this entire game over my 30 plus hours of playtime, which were mostly on the first 2 days of launch, to be honest, I just sat there for hours and hours, is that I barely upgraded my ship at all. That's the only thing about the game that feels grindy, the rest of it feels very open, and Helldivers has such an easy to get into gameplay loop where I can just jump in for half an hour, do a mission, hop on another game for a bit with my friends, and then jump back into Helldivers 2 again. That being said, it's also accessible to people that want to sink hours and hours into it, as I have also done on many occasions. And having the map being split between automatons and the bugs is so perfect, because if you're sick of fighting one type of enemy, you can jump on and fight a completely different type of enemy in a side of the game that honestly feels like a different game entirely at points. mostly because Automaton Vietnam has given me PTSD, and so have the extraction missions that have been going on for the last couple days. They have been terrifying. But the point of this ramble is that there's variety here, and that's what keeps people coming back more than anything else. But my final point is, to get these people on board in the first place to the point where they are hooked takes good word of mouth, and that's something that doesn't come very easily during this day and age in terms of video games. It's rare to find a game that launches, that's published by a big IP like Sony, that doesn't have hordes of criticism thrown towards it. And to be honest, there is some. I have my own grievances about, as I said, the grindy nature of some of the ship upgrades, but overall, in terms of everything else about Helldivers, I've got nothing but praise for the game. And that good word of mouth has spread to a lot of my friends buying the game, and me playing with people that I haven't played with in quite a long time because I've seen that they've been raiding a bug planet on Helldivers and I've just joined their squad. It's so easy to drop in and out of gameplay that it's a perfectly accessible game to almost everybody. And it's not full price. That also always helps. It's a $40 or £35 game that has seen massive success because of it, and I wish Arrowhead the best going forward. It's also very strange to me, well, not strange, but just surprising that a massive discourse about Starship Troopers has also opened from the success of Helldivers 2. I'm seeing more people talk about that film than I have ever before. Even more than when the actual Starship Troopers Extermination game came out, which is a banging game, by the way. And there's a feature in that game that I would love to see come over to Helldivers 2, which is just bigger lobby sizes. This game works so damn well as a 4-player co-op action game. However, part of me does really want to see 20 orbital strikes coming in at one point. The game definitely could not handle that. I think my PS5 would take off and explode. But it's just a thought. That would be very cool. Don't think it's feasible, but it's one of my dreams. Anyway, this video has been a lot more of a rant than the last Helldivers video. If you want a more in-depth look at some of the gameplay systems that I adore about this game that have been glossed over in this video, as I said, there's a completely different video dedicated to that in the description below. Go give it a watch. But today I just wanted to focus on the success story of Helldivers 2 and to wish the dev team the best. Anyway, have you enjoyed Helldivers 2? Have you even bought it? Has this video or my other video inspired you to buy it? I really hope it has, because it's one of the best games to come out of PlayStation and Sony in a very long time. Thank you all for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next video.